Greetings and Gamer Radio, the of Outlaw Gamers show where we live and play. I'm Brent Adams, who has also entering a CD mode. His wife looking at something he doesn't want her to see. Sir Lauren Baumgarten.
Brent Adams!
What's up, man? Welcome back to the show.
What are you talking about my wife, man?
We're talking about your wife and CD and things that she shouldn't be looking at. Is human beings have ever created as Uncharted 4. We'll be talking about created by human beings. Before we get to that, we're back. Okay, sorry to leave you hanging. If it makes any of you feel in the middle of vacation time, I was away, my dog, and has been walking ever. You understand that I needed this event to very much to everybody who's on Facebook and so forth. Now then.
Yes, sir.
We'll have the Phantom Pain gameplay demo, which runs 40. The first item.
Because.
Listen, that's good. Because within the nation encapsulates fully custom a extraction system on everything.
Really everything.
We knew that it could be used, but this video intend, and obviously it's a couple weeks old and everybody, but this is the first about it, and man, this game in a big way. I mean, see where this game is and where we are now, the strategy, the structure that you have available to Snake, and man, not wait to so
incredible, man. I mean, it really does. This looks freaking incredible. I mean, they got a lot deeper look. I highly got a lot deeper look into, but the moving base.
like the mobile command center.
Yeah, I watched a ton on this. I've kind of seek out information. Yeah. I wasn't aware that you could switch kicks with such ease. Yes, right. Dog as a sidekick, hot chick sniper as a side.
Where you send the hot chick sniper by
using the parachute,
the Fulton balloon system. Like what I want to know is like how to do her leg as a gag. Oh, it looks like your shoes are. I
don't think. So.
Come on.
I don't remember what it's called, but the AT-AT.
Oh yeah,
Scout.
the something or
yeah, I think for Diamond Dog.
Mm-hmm.
That was really utilizing vehicle. Look, the graphics look. I'm curious, Brent, like you watched out, it feels like historically a big Metal Gear player. I've dabbled in 2 and 3. First one I really played. I almost like it's a Metal Gear.
Yeah.
It feels like open and it's a little bit more in the clubhouse, but more like a Red Dead Redemption with a world. And how do you feel about player? I mean, it feels like it's very.
It is
Metal Gear 3.
It's very thing, but not just sort of an underhand of those games. Simply mean that I was doing something profoundly different with games, and the open-ended nature things when and how. I love those gameplay mechanics in the game is very, very that dynamic on to travel around the world objectives, and then with building or whatever that you might hostage as an example. Stealth gameplay in Metal Gear, and I'm all about that core mechanic that is around pain.
How did you cassette tapes?
You know, actually hate 80s music. The kind of 80s music, the popular music in the 80s, I hate.
Duran Duran, Journey.
I mean, I'll always be a metalhead and that kind of music. Me, I kind of the cute, kitschy, and the fact that it does kind of at all times that this is a period. I'm just like into 3 submin kitschy 80s pop music, playing this game. As a Flight of the Valkyries. I found the only helicopter.
I think it is in that game. I think wasn't.
Was it? Yeah, maybe in Ground Zero.
I kind of think that it was.
But that's. I mean, it's long. Like I don't need any other fucking tape. And I'll be out there. You think I'm afraid to surf this beach? I don't.
Yeah, man. I was gonna again. We're gonna talk about this a little. I do have The Witcher 3 on the list a ton, so I won't be talking. But the setup of a Red Dead is so compelling, and in the Metal Gear world, blown away by what I saw, and I highly essentially that they show off a couple of the weapons they show off, but from a story standpoint, there's no. And checking out this disc, it was
this is probably a Metal Gear game for Bank.
I thought you were going to say for it. Probably, Brent.
But I go Assassin's Creed with it and just like
it's hard to say. They might.
The thing is that it's going to have to figure out what to do with it next. It's a different thing minus Koji. But I'm exceedingly excited about the Metal Gear after it cut off from it for a while.
For 5th, it's not that far away.
No, it's like 2 months. Have the Uncharted 2015 gameplay video demo shown off on stage, Blockbuster E3 press art that we didn't get, and what follows after the greatest entertainment mankind to this point. I'm telling you, millions of children, including us, will go is the convoy sequence next to suit gameplay. Then, my God, the action, and it smell it through my entire, and it smelled good.
If only you guys, you naughty dog, really, for putting this out, then putting this out.
Oh my God.
It really is.
It's tough, man. It's hard to be mad at them, though. I mean, Naughty Dog is like, it's like you are the hottest, and she is wrong for you. You don't like opposite tastes in music, life, careers, all that. Not stay away. And that's what Uncharted 4 madness.
Ridiculous. It's absolutely.
Thought that sequence they showed at off the hook, you're like, oh my God.
And it was.
And then they come along, you know nothing about it. This is exciting. I don't know if I'm overdoing what follows that sequence, getting dragged behind the truck, and he's fighting his way, and at the guys on the motorcycles are followed by that ridiculous accident. He gets the truck of doom driving by, just like Darth Vader, evil and scary. And he comes out just black, 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 black gun. It was awesome. At the very end, they gave us just about the story somewhere where they communist utopia, they shared equally, and the company are going to get it. So angry about the delay, and now all is desperate. I'm desperate. Yes. Take me.
Want to see more? And about the demo we saw where Nathan's fighting around and he's sliding down. I mean that. Right. And don't forget, that's so amazing to watch. I cannot wait. October, the Nathan, I want it on my PS4. Up in me.
And it rolled me over.
That's exactly right. All right, Brent, let's have to stop recording.
Okay.
Together, we're so amazing.
We're fighting the weather worse and worse and worse, so we got to do
recording this on the ship with George Clooney.
That's exactly fucking Marky Mark. Ship. I don't know what you're doing.
Next up, we have just a little video that GN, where Blackley, creator of the Xbox, about the origin of the Xbox.
Yeah. it's one of those stories kind of thing all the time. Like there's some circumstance or happenstance, something iconic comes. The designer working on the original Xbox design pilfered all the good pencil or a pen case. Presumably this is or something. And this sick-looking once, and so it hasn't been anything he's got to work with. Oh, Xbox Green came. It's their freaking trademark. At
this point,
it's just one of those. It's just I don't know, it remembers something where.
Well, the classic one is showing up on the Raiders of the Lost Ark set, right?
Yes,
so the fight with the guy with the machete, the big just pulls out his gun and shoots him. And next scene,
one of the greatest, because no. All right, moving on. About Call of Duty Black Ops 3 revealed trailer, Lauren. Why?
Did you watch this?
It was unlike any except for Left 4 Dead.
I felt like I had to put this on here, and it just being surprised. It was so expected to see.
It's so in trailer, which is in, I don't know, the 40s or something. And it involves fighting off hordes of zombies, own baggage they're kind of bringing in. There's this whole theme about done in the past catching up with righteous act of supernatural. And then the fucking guns come out. Fucking Ron Perlman talking, and then you get to the end of this show, like Shadows, Call of Duty, Black Ops. These two things seem different from each other. I mean, trailer, I really did. I thought it was cool. Take on the Left 4 Dead, sort of game. Great. It went with Black Ops 3, but it'd be fun. I guess that.
No, I just thought it was really interesting. I think with the was that it's not enough to compare. You weren't necessarily otherwise. I think it's interesting, and I'm happy to see a bit and doing something a little. I'd be curious to see more footage on it. We'll check it out.
It is cool. They're just being cynical because it's COD. It's like, why does this game? Yeah, I mean, entirely different game that they would make that game sell a lot better. Duty, like a little bit like that. You remember that racer that had nothing to that they were just like, slap the force. We'll sell a bunch more copies. Feels like this because this game's got Duty outside of the fact it hasn't involved zombies in the past, but good for them, and not of the good kind. Probably at this point, Nintendo president's away at age 50 due to what was a very unexpected. He missed the last two E3s, but he passed away. And I mean, okay, so just has died. Is people who knew him as friends and family in this industry. It really is to look at his time at Nintendo. That he had presided over in the Wii, and that whole thing about with the DS. And I mean, this guy running Nintendo during one of in that company's history. His death is certainly. It's gonna ripples in the pond coming out from this, and I'm curious how this is going to affect Nintendo. But we just passing of one of the figures in the video game industry.
In peace. I've headed into the clubhouse. And Adams.
Yes, sir. which of course back to our previous problems that Batman PC, which still I'm back from vacation and I found out that they result of the ongoing problem. The question we asked you guys is which measure meant another Arkham. We had 4 options. At 9% you said harsh language, which I'm basically what the internet is. Third place with 20 place. With 22%, Valve taking direct action to broken. Second place went to Steam's refund this in future releases, but the vote was PC. Their pre-order habits are of that mindset. Pretty much everybody for voting us and lending your to that discussion. We all of the things that you again for weighing in on.
It was a great conversation, Brent. There were in that discussion and posted comments. People were ourselves included. Yeah. And it was interesting
opportunity to talk about why we are pre-ordering now.
Yeah, with it, well, yes, right. This one is not.
It is about Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, though. I don't want to. Yeah. Not really more Arkham Knight. Phil Owen over on Kotaku a couple of weeks ago at this point on some games should have fewer. So this wasn't about the pre-ordering that it didn't work on PC. He did sort of use Batman conversation because he stuff essentially conversation about too much stuff in Knight. Wanted to talk about it in the context open world games that we have, for example, Dragon Age. Certainly the Assassin. He's got a great article of an Assassin's Creed game. Map is just with side quests, main quests. And he talked
Harrison,
a sparse game in which the game world.
Yeah,
it wasn't about going around and finding all this. Talks about the Batman platform from which Knight was. Well, I wouldn't call it a corridor shooter. Less open than. Which is for the size.
Could you say that is more?
I'm sorry, is what I meant. Sorry,
gotcha.
Is the game the first is a corridor shooter by any much more linear experience, not nearly as open as was Arkham. In Arkham Knight, of course, they by several times the city in Arkham Knight series to look at. But I do think it has gotten to the point where this Creed map is maybe one. But you play these games and you look at so many things to do with Arkham City about how I really story. And I had to, Arkham Knight trying to get me to do other stuff. Really, Alfred was reminding you, maybe now is a great time to go. And he was literally saying shit like story missions. I think it's an interesting time. Some example might be that example. I'm not sure. Examples of there's it pulling away. It changes how you experience the.
But then on the other hand, you're doing it wrong. I don't want to just sound flippant. I really, really enjoys open world. The thing that I like about it is the expected to happen. Rare that in like a corridor shooter. I'm talking about the single player campaign. It's very, very rare. Involved in that involves sneaking base and then assaulting the base, getting away. As an example, rare that in the anything. 99% of the time, assault the base, complete the objective. Open world games ability of things to occur. I think that looking at the fact that there are surprises, there are side quests and things, but can be incredible. See Skyfall being a negative thing. Now, disagree with the fact that it can be difficult through that. To dedicate to the game. Witcher 3 is a challenge for me. I'm ambitious about the things I do because having finished the main story to shadow of 90% of that. And so my PS4 one of these days, content from a game that I like, experience that rely upon the chronology of I don't those qualities are necessarily
I don't necessarily suggesting games shouldn't be open world and that more experience is of experience. Yeah. But that meant with the open worldness.
Well, threshold, and no doubt.
I'll give you, as you're talking, I'm thinking about it. And I really, many preferred a linear shooter to pull me in more completely than do in the quality. So as you're talking, things like the most brilliant examples of a balance in the titles that come to mind for me, Eyes to the Top, in nature of the game with the story, are games like Sky 5,
Red Dead,
The Witcher 3 may be at the top of that list. It pulls you in. So there's a whole Baron. Have you encountered so there's of a quest that I was 2/3 of the way through part of the story, optional, and maybe it was part of the story. Continued it. I'm not even sure. It was hours long. I didn't play it straight through. Came back, and depending on where they do such an amazing job. A lot of the side missions in with the story, and they're hours long story. And I think it's really in games, like perhaps a good example. And I think is a great example as well, like pushing me to do, and they were trying there, rather than, feel as organic to me. Now, maybe there's other issues to talk about. That even just made the experience of playing it different. How other missions that you have, collectibles or other missions, and some of the most deft example that balances, but there are a lot of it in there for the sake of.
I won't argue. I have a couple of interesting points here. Sort of the impetus, or excuse me, for the artics for this discussion, but somebody suggesting that the Nemesis system from Shadow of the Batman game, which I made the exact same after finishing Shadow of Mordor, and the that would have night because there's too many things going on. Probably true. A game need to kind of be built around. Would need to be a game about Batman working criminal underworld in order to accomplish, kind of be the central thing. Be right to just tack it on, what you're saying. I think there's two examples that are kind of one. I wonder if is a failure that might be a contributing factor. The reason I think that the way that Theft Auto series era, but certainly like on the PlayStation, Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice, especially San Andreas, cities in one game, this large floor, a lot of rural. It would be very, very easy that. And the model of GTA was you part of the map, and some circumstance the bridge able to get to and then a little while, then you get access to the next. You could tool around there, and kind of unrealistic, but it did, of not letting you get a piece of the pie to gradually got bigger and bigger and bigger, so into that larger. So I think that there's that considering, but I wonder about then Grand Theft Auto is not a complex place in a single. It goes on for months. Not a sense of urgency, rush through, and got to get this main storyline done. Gotham are depending on you or whatever. It's designed for you some things, and there are where you kind of take some side quests now. They don't force you, they don't push. It naturally occurs because and the missions and where you're doing side quests might be available. So for me, I think that game design and storytelling just throw more shit in.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that but I use this, to me, is funny tenet of making a quality, and figuring out the pacing is an extremely difficult puzzle, I'm sure. And figuring out how and when it makes sense to dovetail into or out of, and how far into or out of a key component to flow in an open world, but still there's opportunities for like Police Cars 35 story building.
Right. Or your wife walking in watching the Uncharted 4 E3.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Is to sound off on what you topic, our open world games content. Are people shoving two world games to make them still what you think on the website? This is a terrible outro.
Would put the throttle down and talk about I go first to Lauren 3.
It to me, it is a great game.
I for Witcher 3. Now that I'm on my PC again, that road. Something I did play on the road is Fallout iPad, which
every week I go look it up. Fallout or Android? Nothing. I got
Frere because that Bethesda is.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And fingers crossed that they do. You about this game and finding out the mobile game that finally on mobile gaming. They just to the iOS game they've added the ability to take very easily, and they encourage people. Share though that do happen in the vault from time to time, balancing tweaks and things like that. The game is awesome, and it playing it on the road, just visiting with my family, just all of us in with Z. Maybe played the game a couple times. I do a little something with it, and then with it, and that's the thing. It's the can just play twice a day kind of game that you can play. Like go grab the iPad, put it down, come back 20 minutes. It will sustain as a gameplay, and that's really cool. I hope that they're right about it, and then you can.
I look forward.
All right, so I appreciate no spoilers because I haven't. But experience.
I will keep the spoiler free, of course. The game, I really pretty much just avoided the
planning to go and do the side quest or at some later point.
100% sure, Brent. And I'll tell you. So, number one is I honestly push myself to. Yeah, and I do think it's sad is that it's to do with the performance on the PC. Only thing, but it's meaningful. Definitely, the further you got into the game, the larger you could using the vehicle, and those are the places. Boss battles, these really can piss you able to get past a piece of a performance is glitching. I really, by the moments, there were definite moments. There's things about it's on a post-mortem or maybe at a later show after. They're definitely awesome. I felt like I had to sort of trudge my pacing. Feel like they meet out the gadgets and there was a went from. I was in my Batmobile and was able to defeat enemies in battles with that issue, and then suddenly I was having to 20 times
because there are glitches. Just to be clear,
no, and maybe I feel like that was a disproportionate difficulty.
Right.
But it's hard for me. It's hard for me to be. If this game had played like butter, PS4 talks about how freaking unbelievable it is and it's so good. And so if the game played like butter, it wouldn't have felt so. It would have felt. And that's the sad thing. Left a taste in my mouth that I haven't in a week because my control because it was such. Yeah, it was so. I just apparently now Warner Brothers, they'll be releasing Batman on. So we're talking, and I got to be honest, their consolation. The article the author wrote, and I got to say,
the right thing would have been that on PC,
right? But in short of that, they're reevaluating all of their qualities, and I think that's all great. But we're going to hear some financial. We should probably $60 or half-finished game, and so for the
here's $30.
Right, which I point, but I'm shocked they haven't come out giving all of the DLC for free before we pulled it from the store. This is yours for free, or what? You might hear. I'm surprised we haven't. Yeah,
was it mixed it?
No, but I'm not somebody who can just let the game sit there. And that's just not who I am. It was for me. No, I don't know, Brandon. I don't know if it got. But at that point, I was 75. I do expect I will so much once they re-release it, rest of it, and see if things change. City, the game, and I had to go back and I might get in a few months when they were walking away from it. Right now,
this is the whole not touch it. I happen. And I think it's a game based on game's own merits and not and. Well, I'm sad to hear you say that you are and that you did a positive experience with it. I'm glad that I was smarter. Basically, what I'm saying.
And I think there is a new game, I believe, sort of thing that might make it continue on playing it and to try again. I think there's going to be reasons to play it. I did love the gameplay, the mechanics, like the environmental takedown, being able to switch between when you're fighting felt. Then maybe 100% sure, but that play more, and I'm hoping to play as other characters in the DLC. We'll have more and more opportunities. I definitely see myself return experience. It's a, but it wasn't functioning. They were shoving the side with the constant. In my opinion, car was overused. That was another. It was fun, but when you're actually fighting with the car, to me, was too much, and that was part.
All right, and perhaps one day when and maybe you've revisited, we'll evaluate it again and kind of see about what. Because of design and problems, and maybe we can give this game a fair evaluation. Let's go ahead, Sunset, and a couple last XCOM 2 gameplay. This is to get into the show since week of E3. That's got the lead. We're looking at the sensibilities, thinking involved in the concept of play, how strategy now that they have up in formula, and that you are both simultaneously also in an interesting way you're on the offensive and who are utilizing first game really only the aliens going into the situation left you not sure. XCOM 2, you are the that they don't know is coming. A lot of those aspects and just what we can in terms of. And watching this gameplay demo is really that I'm talking about. So you don't need to watch the entire video about, but rundown. You're like heroes from XCOM. Oh man, we're the underdogs now. Hey, we're fighting back. Oh my God, look at. That's kind of it kind of see like that Empire. Our heroes are really getting there, and that's the flavor of this and the fact I'm really excited about XCOM. You are, and you haven't already worth your time.
I played XCOM 1 really from.
I love the game. Maybe it's nothing wrong with you. Maybe it's we're not meant to. But boy, was that was a good run. XCOM 1.
All right, so my little last parting thought, in view, actually.
Something I'm very...
Yeah, I actually... so unfortunately, where I live during E3, or around June 5th, San Francisco and Los Angeles, and to my area, to the Boston, I wish they would have it. But wide availability of Showtime.
I saw that.
I actually... And it's $8.95, $10.95 a month without PlayStation, $8.95 a month. You get a free 30-day trial. Which is enough time, Penny Dreadful, if you haven't.
Which is squeeze in some Ray Donovan.
Is Ray Donovan supposed to be good? Yeah. So I'm very pleased with the is excellent of the picture. I have a feeling we'll be keeping it. We'll see how the prices shake out. It's complete, essentially live. There's certainly some UI things that in general, but is very, very good. I'm curious to hear if others have tried living in the 4 or so in which the full So I'm curious to dive to the full, hear what people think. But so far, very excited about the Outlaws and not through cable providers.
Yeah, because I think that it being locked into, as we've known it in the U.S. And it is. I mean, for some people, the cable is great. Being able hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of channels. There's some people that were awful that existed for so long. I'm really happy to see that broken, and they're going to come out of this. Comcast is offering some sort of a similar fee on top of broadband service with them, just a little bit extra, and they're going to give you Flash Cloud DVR to content. Of course, about Apple, similar low cost, just like the Prime content, end up watching on their cable plans. Exciting stuff going on in that arena. View is one I joined Sunset.
Excellent. That, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. As always, we want to hear what you think about Station View, XCOM 2, The Witcher 3 in the Clubhouse, whether or not have maybe fewer features in the garage. Of course, the very sad President Satoru Iwata, the Shadow of Evil's Xbox, and the green became their signature color from E3, and the Solid 5, the Phantom. Those topics and anything, as always, he is Brent Adam. And remember, you don't stop playing because you stop playing.